Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Leads and lags are important concepts when it comes to schedule management. So stick around if you want to know what these exactly are and how they play a very important role in the project schedule diagrams or the network diagrams. So first up, why is this important? Something that we like to discuss before many of the topics which we cover. So let's talk about a backstory here. Let's take a backseat here and listen to this story. So in an ideal world, all the project activities are sequentially lined one after the other. So your project has 10 activities. All of them are sequentially lined one after the other. As a project manager, you are supposed to make sure that all those 10 activities, each of them actually, start and end based on your project schedule, right? So that is how you do. But is that an effective way to manage project? Managing those 10 activities and ensuring that they begin at their set time and end at their set time, is that an effective way to manage project? Here's another question. How about running two out of those 10 activities in parallel? Wouldn't that save time? Of course it would, right? In an ideal world, you have 10 activities which are lined one after the other sequentially. But let's say if you want to run two activities in parallel to save some time and you have the resources available, well, nothing like it. Wouldn't you want to do that? But what if I told you in real world project management situations, not only can you run two activities in parallel, but there are times when you may end up intentionally waiting between two activities as well. So there might be an intentional waiting time between two activities. Now, you may wonder what kind of project manager would design a schedule in a way that there actually is waiting time intentionally set up waiting time between two project activities. Well, the answer to that is a project manager who knows the concepts of leads and lags, and that is why it is important that you learn this concept. So the waiting time that we just talked about, the waiting time between two activities, this is known as lag. Now, lag, you should understand that it is not missing deadlines. You know, you had a coding end date and you missed that date, and you cannot pass that as a lag, right? Lag is not about missing deadlines. It is purposeful. That means it is already accounted for in your project schedule. When it comes to lead, on the other hand, is letting an activity begin and be conducted in parallel with its predecessor, right? So remember how we talked about running two activities in parallel in the previous slide? So that is typically what lead is. You are starting off with an activity with a successor activity while the predecessor hasn't finished yet. That is lead. Now, of course, there's a significant risk of rework involved with lead. If anything goes wrong with the predecessor activity, a lot of things may go wrong with the successor activity. So there definitely is a risk associated with lead. So in this diagram tries to explain you lead and lag in a very easy manner. So you have a task A, and if you begin task B at a point when task A is not over yet, this time is lead time. So this is the whole concept of lead. Beginning of task B while task A isn't complete yet. So this is lead. When it comes to lag, you've got task A which is already complete, but you are still not beginning with task B. This is lag time. So I hope the pictorial representation kind of explains lead and lag in a much simpler fashion. A quick note here, if you're wondering what books to buy for your PMP preparation, pmclounge.com/resources is the link that you should refer to. Let's move on to the examples of lead and lag. So let's take a look into some of the examples of lead. Now, you can start the project design while still working on collecting requirements. All you need is the portion of requirements that is frozen. So once, let's say you have 10 pages of requirements in total, you assume that there are going to be 10 pages of requirements. Five of them, the first 5 pages, they are frozen. They are final requirements. Nothing is going to change. So can you start the design work for these 5 pages of requirements? Of course you can. So this is an example of lead, starting the design activity while the collect requirements activity is not fully 100% complete. Setting the microwave oven on preheating while working on the mixture. So you're working on the mixture, but you have already set the microwave oven on preheating because you know that preheating is going to take 20 minutes while you're still working on the mixture, which will also be ready around the same time. So if there's a photo shoot and it is going to take 3 days of time, and editing all the photos is also going to take another 3 days, then you can begin editing the photos after the first day of the shoot itself. You don't have to wait for entire 3 days of shooting the photos first and then taking entire other 3 days for editing those photos. You can start with editing the photos after the first day of the shoot itself. This again is an example of lead. When it comes to lag, let's look into some of the examples of lag. So after plastering the wall, and this is a very typical, this is a very classic example. A lot of people are going to give you the same example. So once you've plastered the wall, you need to wait for the cement to set before paint can be applied. So you cannot plaster the wall and immediately start painting it. There has to be a lag between the two activities, and this lag is intentional. This lag is accounted for in the project schedule itself. Now, once you've shipped the goods to the customer, you need to wait before reaching out to the customer for delivery confirmation because the activity is still in progress, right? So typically, the shipping activity is done, but the transportation activity is in progress, and that is why you need to wait. So there's a lag between shipping the goods and then reaching out to the customer for delivery confirmation. Now back to our photo shoot example, when the edited photos are sent to the customer for review. So you have edited all the photos. Now you send those photos out to the customer for review. There is a week's delay before the customer approval is obtained and photos can go for printing. So the two activities here are sending the photos for customer review and printing the photos. Between these two activities, right? Let me mark the two activities here. Sending the photos for customer review is an activity and printing the photos is another activity. There is a delay of a week time before you can go ahead and start printing because customer approval needs to be obtained in this week's time, in this week's delay. So this week, a week's time, a week's delay is accounted for in the project schedule already. There are mathematical representations of leads and lags as well, and you will understand that in this slide. So lag describes delay, as we have already seen and known. It means addition of time. So it is denoted by plus sign in the network diagram. So in the network diagram, plus sign denotes lag. Now this could be a bit counterintuitive because some people may think that lag is something which is negative, but the thing is lag, since it denotes addition of time, it is represented by the plus sign in the network diagram. At the same time, lead always describes advancement. You are advancing an activity, right? So this means reduction in the total time taken. So it is denoted by minus sign in the network diagram. So to to memorize this, it is important to understand the addition of time and reduction in time. Addition of time, you're talking about lag, so you represent it with plus sign. Reduction in time, you're talking about lead, so you represented it with a minus sign. Now, you cannot have a project schedule with only leads. You need to have lags as well. And that is why the important note with which we will end this video is the fact that leads and lags are both used in the development of the project schedule. So that's all that we had in this video. Do hit the like button if you learned something new and enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already so that you get notified whenever we upload a new video. And do check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. This is where you'll find all the related articles to all our videos available. Thank you.